What if I told you that your mind is not just perceiving reality, it is actively shaping it? What if everything you have been taught about life, success, happiness, and even the limits of the physical world was incomplete? Most people believe that life is happening to them, that they are merely passengers in a predetermined universe, reacting to external circumstances and doing their best to navigate the unpredictable waves of reality. But what if the truth is far more powerful than that? What if reality is not something fixed and absolute, but something fluid and responsive? A canvas that bends and shifts in response to the energy of your thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. This book is not about wishful thinking, vague affirmations, or empty motivational speeches. This is about real power, the power that has been inside you all along, waiting to be fully awakened. Throughout history, mystics, philosophers, and scientists have all pointed toward a deeper truth. Our minds do not merely observe reality, they create it. Modern physics has confirmed what ancient wisdom has long suggested, that at the most fundamental level, reality is not a solid, unchangeable structure, but a field of energy shaped by the observer. And that observer is you. The purpose of this book is simple yet profound, to help you awaken to your role as a creator of your reality, to show you, step by step, how to shift your perception, harness the power of your mind, and intentionally shape the life you desire. This is not just about positive thinking or visualization. This is about rewiring your subconscious mind, elevating your energy, and aligning yourself with the deeper forces of the universe that are already working in your favor, if you learn how to work with them. By the time you finish this book, you will understand why certain people seem to attract success effortlessly, while others struggle for years. You will understand why some individuals overcome impossible odds, defy limitations, and reshape their destiny, while others remain stuck in repetitive cycles of frustration. Most importantly, you will learn how to apply these insights to your own life, because once you see the truth, once you understand how reality actually works, you can never go back to the old way of thinking. The fundamental question: does the mind shape reality? This is the question that has fascinated scientists, philosophers, and spiritual leaders for centuries. Does the mind influence reality, or are we simply passive observers in a predetermined universe? For most of human history, the dominant belief was that the universe was an objective, fixed structure operating according to mechanical laws, with human beings as insignificant bystanders. But as science evolved, particularly with the rise of quantum physics, neuroscience, and psychology, a different picture began to emerge. Take, for example, the famous double-slit experiment in quantum physics. When scientists observed tiny particles, such as electrons, passing through two slits, they found that the very act of observation changed the behavior of the particles. When no one was watching, the electrons behaved like waves, spreading out in multiple possibilities. But when someone observed them, they suddenly collapsed into a definite state, as if they knew they were being watched. This experiment shattered the old belief that reality exists independently of consciousness. It suggested that the act of observation, the mind's focus, actually influences the physical world. Beyond physics, neuroscience has also revealed that the brain does not perceive reality objectively. Instead, it filters and constructs reality based on past experiences, beliefs, and expectations. In other words, two people can experience the same event, but perceive it in completely different ways, because their minds are shaping what they see. This is why some individuals thrive in adversity, while others crumble. It is not the external event itself, but the internal perception that determines the outcome. But if perception shapes experience, could it also shape external reality? Could it be that the universe itself is responding to the energy, beliefs, and focus of your mind? This book will show you that the answer is yes, and that once you learn how to consciously direct this power, you will begin to experience life in a radically new way. a brief look at consciousness and the universe. To understand how your mind shapes reality, you must first understand the nature of consciousness itself. Science has made incredible advancements in understanding the brain, but one of the greatest mysteries remains consciousness. The fact that you are aware, that you can think, reflect, and experience reality. Some theories suggest that consciousness is simply a byproduct of brain activity, a hallucination produced by neurons. But this explanation falls short when faced with compelling evidence that consciousness may not be confined to the brain at all. Studies on near-death experiences, quantum mechanics, and even the interconnected nature of space-time suggest that consciousness may be fundamental to the universe itself. If that is true, then reality is not just a collection of random, lifeless particles. It is something deeply intelligent, interconnected, and responsive. Ancient spiritual traditions have always hinted at this truth. Hinduism speaks of Maya, the illusion of separateness. Buddhism teaches that the external world is a reflection of the mind. Indigenous cultures around the world have long believed in the harmony between human thought and the forces of nature. And now, modern science is beginning to confirm what these traditions have always known. We are not separate from the universe. We are participants in its unfolding. If consciousness is primary, if it exists beyond the physical brain and interacts with reality itself, then it means that your mind is not a passive observer. It is an active force, shaping the very fabric of existence. And this is the foundation of everything you are about to learn in this book. How this book will guide you now that we have set the stage, let's talk about how this book will radically transform the way you see yourself and the world. This is not just another self-help book filled with temporary motivation. This is a guide to rewiring your perception of reality at the deepest level. Each chapter will take you step by step through the process of shifting your mindset, rewiring your subconscious, and learning how to work with the unseen forces of reality to create the life you truly desire. You will discover how your subconscious mind is the master key to your reality and how to reprogram it for success, abundance, and joy. The role of energy and frequency in shaping your experiences, and how to raise your vibration to attract better opportunities, people, and outcomes. The hidden power of belief systems, and how to break free from limiting beliefs that keep you stuck in old patterns. How quantum physics and neuroscience support the idea that reality is not fixed but fluid, and why this means you have far more control over your life than you think. Practical techniques to reshape your thoughts, emotions, and daily habits to align with the reality you want to create. This book is both a scientific exploration and a deeply personal journey. It will challenge you to question old assumptions, push past mental barriers, and step into a new level of awareness, responsibility, and power. It will require action, consistency, and a willingness to see reality differently. But if you commit to this journey, you will discover something incredible. You are not just living in the universe, you are creating it. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1: The Mind as the Architect of Reality. Have you ever paused in the middle of your day, looked around, and asked yourself whether what you're experiencing is real? Not in the superficial sense. Of course, the chair you're sitting on, the sounds around you, and the people you interact with seem tangible. But have you ever considered that your reality is uniquely yours, molded by the perceptions, beliefs, and interpretations formed by your mind? We often assume that reality exists independently of us, that we are merely passive observers in an external world that operates on its own terms. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if you are not just experiencing reality, but actively shaping it? Science, philosophy, and ancient wisdom all suggest that reality is not an absolute, fixed structure, but something far more malleable, something that bends, shifts, and transforms according to the nature of the observer. And that observer is you. Your thoughts, expectations, and consciousness play a fundamental role in determining what you perceive and experience. This is not just an abstract theory. It's a deeply practical truth that has been observed across multiple disciplines, from neuroscience to quantum physics to psychology. When you understand this, you realize that you are not merely a bystander in life, but the creator of your world. Your mind, whether you realize it or not, is shaping everything around you. To grasp this concept fully, we must first explore the nature of perception itself. What you see, hear, and feel is not a direct representation of reality, but an interpretation constructed by your brain. Your sensory organs collect raw data from the environment, but it is your mind that assembles this information into a meaningful picture. Consider optical illusions. Two people can look at the same image and see entirely different things. This isn't just a quirk of vision, it's a fundamental aspect of how the brain works. The world you experience is not an objective reality. It is a filtered, modified, and personalized version, shaped by the beliefs, biases, and subconscious programming that you have accumulated over a lifetime. If perception were truly objective, everyone would experience the world in the exact same way. But that's not the case. What excites one person might terrify another. What one person sees as an opportunity, another may view as a threat. Reality is not simply out there. It is actively shaped by the mind interpreting it. To put this into perspective, let's take a look at neuroscience. Studies have shown that the brain constructs reality based on past experiences and learned patterns. When you encounter something new, your brain doesn't analyze it in a vacuum. It compares it to everything you've encountered before. This is why two people can have completely different reactions to the same event. Imagine two individuals standing at the edge of a tall building. One person, a seasoned skydiver, feels exhilaration. The other, someone with a deep fear of heights, feels sheer panic. They are both looking at the same scene, standing in the same location, but their realities are entirely different. Why? Because their minds are shaping their perception based on their unique experiences, emotions, and expectations. The world itself has not changed, only their interpretation of it has. Now, let's take this idea a step further. If perception is subjective, then reality itself is not something that simply happens to you. You are actively participating in its creation. This concept aligns with what quantum physics has revealed about the nature of the universe. Scientists studying subatomic particles have discovered something astonishing. The mere act of observing changes the outcome of an event. In what is known as the observer effect, particles behave differently depending on whether or not they are being watched. This suggests that consciousness is not separate from reality, but is deeply intertwined with it. If a scientist's observation can change the behavior of a particle, what does this imply about the way your thoughts and beliefs might be shaping the reality you live in? This is where the power of the mind truly comes into focus. If your perception molds reality, then your thoughts, whether conscious or subconscious, play a far greater role in shaping your life than you may have realized. Have you ever noticed that when you expect something to go wrong, it often does? Or that when you believe something positive will happen, things tend to work in your favor? This isn't coincidence. It's the result of the way your mind directs your focus, energy, and actions. Your beliefs act as filters, determining what you notice, what you ignore, and how you react to the world around you. If you believe the world is a hostile place, your brain will seek out evidence to confirm that belief, reinforcing it over time. If you believe opportunities are everywhere, your mind will highlight them for you, even in the most unexpected places. In essence, what you expect is what you get, because your mind is actively creating the world you believe in. This concept is not just theoretical. It has profound practical implications for your daily life. If you want to change your reality, you must first change the way you perceive it. This requires a shift in mindset, a conscious effort to examine the beliefs and assumptions that are shaping your world. The first step is awareness. Pay close attention to your thoughts, especially in challenging situations. Do you see obstacles or do you see opportunities? Do you assume the worst or do you believe in the possibility of positive outcomes? The more aware you become of your own mental patterns, the more control you have over them. The next step is intentional focus. Since your mind shapes reality, directing your focus toward what you want to create is crucial. This is where practices like visualization, affirmations, and mindfulness become powerful tools. By consistently focusing on positive possibilities, you train your brain to recognize and attract them. This isn't just self-help jargon. Science supports it. Studies on neuroplasticity have shown that the brain rewires itself based on repeated thoughts and experiences. When you repeatedly focus on success, happiness, or growth, your brain physically adapts, creating neural pathways that make those experiences more likely. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean you can simply think your way into a perfect life without action. Your mind shapes reality, but action cements it. When you shift your perception, you naturally begin to behave differently. You take bolder steps, make better decisions, and align yourself with the reality you want to create. The key is to break free from the autopilot mode most people live in, where they react to life instead of actively shaping it. If you want to prove this concept for yourself, start small. Over the next week, deliberately change how you interpret situations. When something seemingly negative happens, pause and reframe it. Instead of seeing failure, look for a lesson. Instead of seeing an obstacle, see a stepping stone. Pay attention to how this shift in perception changes not only your emotions, but also the outcomes you experience. The more you practice, the more you'll see how powerful your mind truly is. In the end, the reality you experience is not separate from you. It is a reflection of you. Your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, all of these are shaping the universe around you, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are you shaping it consciously or unconsciously? Most people go through life unaware of this power, allowing their subconscious patterns to dictate their experiences. But once you become aware, you gain the ability to shape your world with intention. Reality is not something fixed and unchangeable. It is fluid, dynamic, and deeply personal. You are not just an observer of life, you are a creator of it. The universe does not impose a single rigid truth upon you. You create your truth every single day with every single thought. And when you truly embrace this, you realize that the possibilities are endless. The only limits that exist are the ones you believe in. Chapter 2. Ancient Wisdom Meets Modern Science. For as long as humanity has existed, we have sought to understand reality. Long before modern science, ancient civilizations pondered the nature of existence, the mind, and the universe. The sages of the East, the philosophers of Greece, and the spiritual traditions of indigenous cultures all spoke of a fundamental truth: that reality is not as solid or separate as it appears, but is, in fact, deeply connected to the mind of the observer. While modern science has only recently begun to catch up with these ideas, these ancient traditions understood something profound. The universe is shaped by consciousness. What is astonishing is that, despite being separated by time, geography, and language, so many of these traditions arrived at similar conclusions. They taught that perception is reality, that our beliefs shape our experiences, and that the boundaries between mind and universe are illusions. Today, neuroscience, quantum physics, and psychology are confirming these age-old insights with empirical evidence, giving us a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern understanding. This chapter explores these intersections, revealing how the knowledge of the past and the discoveries of the present together offer a powerful framework for understanding how your mind shapes the universe. Consider one of the oldest spiritual traditions, Hinduism. Thousands of years ago, the Vedic texts described the concept of Maya, the idea that the physical world is an illusion, a projection shaped by the mind. According to this philosophy, what we perceive as reality is merely a construct of our consciousness, much like a dream. The Upanishads, some of the most profound philosophical texts in history, go even further, stating that the universe is not separate from the observer, but is an extension of consciousness itself. The idea that reality is an illusion was not meant to suggest that the world is unreal in a meaningless sense, but rather that it is fluid, subjective, and shaped by perception. Today, neuroscience validates this idea in ways our ancestors could not have imagined. Studies show that the brain does not simply receive information from the external world. It actively constructs reality based on expectations, past experiences, and subconscious programming. The objective world we think we see is actually a mental projection, much like the ancient texts suggested. Similarly, Buddhism, particularly in its Zen and Tibetan traditions, teaches that reality is shaped by the mind's attachments and interpretations. The concept of emptiness, shunyata in Buddhist philosophy, states that things do not exist independently of perception. Everything we experience is interconnected, arising from our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. When a person changes their perception, their reality shifts accordingly. This teaching closely aligns with modern psychology, which has demonstrated that our cognitive biases, emotional states, and subconscious conditioning determine how we perceive and react to the world. For example, when someone is in love, they see the world as vibrant and beautiful. When they are depressed, the same world appears dull and hopeless. Nothing in the external environment has changed, only their perception has. Buddhism anticipated these findings centuries before. Psychology formalized them into theories of cognition and emotion. Ancient Greek philosophy also explored these ideas. Plato's allegory of the cave describes prisoners who are chained inside a cave, seeing only shadows on a wall, believing those shadows to be reality. When one prisoner escapes and sees the real world, he realizes that everything he knew was an illusion. This allegory reflects the nature of human perception. We accept our limited view of reality without questioning what lies beyond it. Neuroscientists now understand that our senses provide only a fraction of the full picture of reality. The visible spectrum of light, for instance, is just a tiny sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum. Our eyes literally cannot perceive most of what exists. Similarly, our brains filter out an overwhelming amount of information every second, presenting only what is deemed relevant based on our existing beliefs and expectations. Plato's insight that humans live in a self-created illusion is echoed in modern cognitive science, which shows that we live inside a neurological cave of our own making. Perhaps the most striking parallels between ancient wisdom and modern science come from quantum physics. In classical Newtonian physics, the universe was seen as a machine operating independently of human observation. But in the 20th century, quantum mechanics shattered that illusion, revealing that the mere act of observation alters the behavior of particles. The double-slit experiment, one of the most famous experiments in physics, demonstrated that light and matter behave as both particles and waves, but only when observed. When unobserved, they exist in a state of infinite possibilities known as superposition. This discovery suggests that consciousness itself plays a fundamental role in shaping reality, an idea that would not have seemed out of place in an ancient spiritual text. The parallels between quantum physics and philosophies like Hinduism and Buddhism are astonishing. Both suggest that reality is not fixed, but is instead a field of possibilities shaped by observation and belief. This brings us to the most crucial question. If reality is shaped by perception, what does this mean for you? It means that your beliefs, expectations, and mental habits are actively constructing the world you experience. This is not just a philosophical idea. It is a scientific fact. Studies on neuroplasticity have proven that the brain rewires itself based on thought patterns. When you repeatedly think a certain way, your brain physically changes, strengthening neural pathways that make those thoughts more automatic. This means that whatever you consistently focus on, whether positive or negative, becomes your reality, not because of mystical forces, but because of the way the brain and perception interact. Take, for example, the placebo effect, one of the most well-documented phenomena in medicine. Patients who believe they are receiving treatment often experience real healing, even when given sugar pills. This effect is so powerful that new drugs must be tested against placebos to prove their effectiveness. If belief alone can heal the body, imagine what it can do to shape the rest of your life. The opposite is also true. The nocebo effect occurs when negative expectations create negative outcomes. Patients who believe they will experience side effects from a drug often do, even when given a harmless substance. These studies reveal that belief is not passive. It is an active force that directly influences reality. If ancient wisdom and modern science both point to the same conclusion, that reality is shaped by the mind, then the most important thing you can do is take control of your thoughts and beliefs. This is not about wishful thinking or denying reality. It is about consciously shaping your perception so that you can create a reality aligned with your desires. When you recognize that the world you experience is a reflection of your inner state, you gain an incredible power. The power to change your mind, and in doing so, change your world. To put this into practice, start by questioning your assumptions. What beliefs have you accepted as absolute truth? What mental habits are shaping your daily experiences? The ancient sages and modern scientists agree. Your mind is not just a passive receiver of reality. It is a creative force, molding the universe around you. The moment you begin to see this truth, you step into a new level of awareness, where life is no longer something that happens to you, but something you actively shape. And when you embrace this power, the possibilities become limitless. Chapter 3. The Illusion of Objectivity. If there is one assumption that nearly everyone takes for granted, it is that reality is objective. We are taught from childhood that there is a single external world that exists independently of us, a world governed by laws and facts that remain the same regardless of who perceives them. We are told that truth is something outside of ourselves, something that can be measured, verified, and universally agreed upon. But what if that assumption is flawed? What if objectivity, the idea that reality exists in a fixed, independent state, is nothing more than an illusion? The more we examine human perception, the clearer it becomes that reality is not something we simply observe. It is something we participate in shaping. Every single experience you have is filtered through the lens of your beliefs, emotions, expectations, and subconscious conditioning. What you see is not the world as it is, but the world as your mind interprets it. This is why two people can experience the same event in completely different ways, because they are not perceiving reality itself, but their version of it. In this chapter, we will explore the illusion of objectivity and reveal how your perception of the world is not a direct reflection of reality, but a projection of your inner world. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence against objective reality is the way our brains construct perception. Neuroscientists have discovered that what we see is not a direct image of the external world, but a reconstruction created by the brain. Your eyes do not simply take in light and send a picture to your mind like a camera. Instead, your brain interprets signals, fills in gaps, and constructs a reality based on past experiences and assumptions. This is why optical illusions work. They exploit the brain's tendency to interpret information based on expectations, rather than what is actually there. Consider the famous Rubens' vase illusion. Some people see a vase, while others see two faces in profile. The image itself never changes, yet perception shifts based on how the mind interprets it. If objective reality truly existed in the way most people assume, then everyone would see the same thing. But they don't. What they see depends entirely on how their mind processes the information. This is not an exception. It is how perception works all the time. Your brain does not present reality to you. It constructs a version of reality that aligns with your existing beliefs and mental models. This is also why people can hold completely contradictory views of the same event. Imagine two people watching a heated political debate. One person might see their preferred candidate as confident, intelligent, and persuasive, while the other sees the same candidate as arrogant, deceptive, and weak. How is this possible? If reality were truly objective, then the facts should be the same for everyone. But what actually happens is that each person's brain filters the event through their existing beliefs and biases, reinforcing what they already think. This is called confirmation bias, and it is one of the most powerful forces shaping human perception. People do not passively receive reality. They actively shape it to fit their pre-existing worldview. This is why two people can read the same news article and walk away with completely different interpretations. It is not the world itself that is different. It is their minds that are different. The illusion of objectivity becomes even more apparent when we examine memory. Most people assume that their memories are like video recordings, preserving the past exactly as it happened. But research in psychology has proven that memory is highly unreliable and constantly changing. Studies have shown that when people recall an event, they are not retrieving a perfect snapshot of the past, but rather reconstructing it based on their current beliefs, emotions, and biases. This means that two people who experienced the same event might remember it completely differently, and both will believe that their version is the correct one. Even more astonishing, studies have found that memories can be manipulated or even implanted. In one famous experiment, participants were shown altered photographs of events that never actually happened, such as a childhood hot air balloon ride, and many later recalled detailed memories of experiencing them. Their minds filled in the blanks, creating memories of events that never took place. If our memories, which we often trust as the foundation of our personal reality, are this malleable, what does that say about our perception of the world? It reveals a profound truth. Reality is not something fixed and external, but something fluid and constructed by the mind. Perhaps the most extreme example of this comes from the study of hallucinations and altered states of consciousness. People who experience hallucinations, whether due to mental illness, psychedelics, or extreme conditions, often report seeing and hearing things that seem completely real to them but are invisible to others. The fact that the mind is capable of constructing an entirely different reality under certain conditions suggests that our normal perception is also a form of controlled hallucination. The only difference is that most people's hallucinations are aligned with one another, creating the illusion of a shared, objective world. But when the brain's filtering system changes, so does reality itself. Some scientists believe that consciousness itself functions as a kind of reality tuner, selecting which version of reality we experience based on internal and external factors. This idea is not just a modern scientific insight. It has been recognized in various philosophical and spiritual traditions for centuries. Eastern philosophy, particularly in Hinduism and Buddhism, has long taught that the physical world is Maya, an illusion shaped by the mind. The ancient Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi wrote about a dream in which he was a butterfly, and upon waking, he questioned whether he was a man who had dreamed of being a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming of being a man. His point was that reality is not as clear-cut as we assume. It is entirely dependent on perception. In Western philosophy, thinkers like Immanuel Kant argued that we can never perceive reality as it truly is, only as it appears to us through the filters of the human mind. Kant made a crucial distinction between the phenomenal world, the world as we experience it, and the noumenal world, the world as it actually exists, independent of perception. His conclusion? We will never know the noumenal world because everything we perceive is shaped by our own consciousness. All of this leads us to one of the most mind-shifting realizations. You are not experiencing reality. You are experiencing your version of reality. The world you see is not an objective truth. It is a reflection of your mind. This is why changing your thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives can change your entire experience of life. When you shift your perception, you shift your reality. This is not just theoretical. It has practical consequences. If you believe that people are generally good, you will interpret interactions in a way that confirms that belief. If you believe that life is a struggle, your brain will filter experiences to reinforce that struggle. If you believe that opportunities are everywhere, you will start noticing them even in the most unexpected places. So how can you use this knowledge to reshape your world? The first step is to question everything. Do not take your perceptions for granted. Examine them. Ask yourself, are my beliefs shaping my experience, or is my experience shaping my beliefs? The truth is that it works both ways. Once you recognize that perception is not passive but active, you gain the power to change it. This means that by altering your beliefs, shifting your focus, and training your mind, you can reshape your entire reality. The illusion of objectivity is one of the greatest barriers to personal transformation, because as long as you believe that reality is fixed and unchangeable, you will feel powerless. But once you understand that reality is fluid, shaped by perception, you step into a position of immense creative power. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a mirror reflecting your own consciousness. The question is, what do you want to see in that mirror? Chapter 4. The Power of Belief: How Your Thoughts Become Reality. If you were told that your thoughts are shaping your reality in ways you cannot even begin to comprehend, would you believe it? Would you accept the idea that the beliefs you hold, whether consciously or unconsciously, are actively constructing the world you experience every single day? Most people would dismiss this as wishful thinking, a concept reserved for self-help books rather than the real world. Yet, when you examine the overwhelming evidence from psychology, neuroscience, quantum physics, and ancient wisdom, a startling truth emerges. Your beliefs are the architects of your reality. What you believe about yourself, about others, and about the world does not simply influence your perception. It creates the circumstances you live in. This is not magic. It is not pseudoscience. It is a fundamental principle of how the mind and reality interact. The moment you grasp this truth, you gain an extraordinary ability, the power to consciously shape your life instead of being at the mercy of unconscious programming. In this chapter, we will dive deep into the mechanics of belief, exploring how your mind constructs reality, why limiting beliefs keep you trapped, and how you can harness the power of belief to transform every aspect of your existence. The first thing you must understand is that beliefs are not passive thoughts. They are commands to your subconscious mind. Every belief you hold acts as a filter, shaping the way you perceive, interpret, and react to the world. If you believe that life is a constant struggle, your mind will find endless evidence to confirm that belief. You will notice every obstacle, every failure, every difficulty, reinforcing the idea that life is unfair and harsh. On the other hand, if you believe that opportunities are everywhere and that success is inevitable, your mind will tune itself to notice possibilities, align with solutions, and attract experiences that validate that belief. This is not just a psychological trick. It is a fundamental function of the brain. Neuroscience has proven that the brain operates on a principle known as selective attention, which means that we only notice what we are programmed to focus on. There is too much information in the world for the brain to process everything, so it prioritizes what it considers relevant, and what it considers relevant is determined by your beliefs. Take, for example, the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, also known as the frequency illusion. Have you ever learned a new word and suddenly started seeing it everywhere? Or considered buying a certain type of car and then noticed it on the road constantly? This happens because once your mind deems something important, it begins filtering reality in a way that makes it more visible. The same principle applies to all aspects of life. If you believe you are unlucky, your brain will highlight every unfortunate event, reinforcing the belief. If you believe people cannot be trusted, your mind will focus on betrayals and dishonesty, proving you right. But if you shift your beliefs, if you tell your mind to look for success, joy, abundance, and opportunity, you will start seeing those things everywhere because they were always there. The difference is that now, your mind is tuned to recognize them. This brings us to an astonishing realization. What you experience as reality is nothing more than a reflection of your beliefs. You are not living in a fixed world. You are living in a version of the world that aligns with your deepest convictions. This explains why two people can grow up in the same environment, but lead vastly different lives. One may believe that success is only for the privileged and spend their life struggling, while the other believes that success is available to anyone willing to work for it and goes on to achieve greatness. The external circumstances may be identical, but their internal realities create completely different life experiences. This is why people born into poverty can become millionaires, and why people born into wealth can end up with nothing. It is not the external conditions that shape them, but the beliefs they hold about those conditions. But where do these beliefs come from? The truth is that most of your beliefs were not consciously chosen by you. From the moment you were born, you were programmed by your environment, your parents, your culture, your experiences, the media, and society as a whole. If you were raised in an environment where money was scarce, you likely absorbed beliefs about financial struggle. If you grew up in a family that constantly fought, you may have developed beliefs that relationships are difficult and painful. If you were praised as a child for being intelligent and capable, you likely formed beliefs that you are competent and valuable. And if you were repeatedly told you were not good enough, your subconscious may have built an entire identity around that idea. The most dangerous thing about beliefs is that once they are accepted, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. If you believe you are unworthy of love, you will unconsciously sabotage relationships to prove yourself right. If you believe you are not capable of success, you will hesitate, procrastinate, and doubt yourself until you fail, because your mind will always work to align reality with your belief system. This is why changing your beliefs is the most powerful thing you can do to change your life. It is not enough to simply think positive or repeat affirmations. You must go deeper and rewire the subconscious mind. The first step is awareness. Begin by questioning everything you believe about yourself and the world. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it serving me? Is there evidence to the contrary? Once you identify limiting beliefs, the next step is to replace them with empowering ones. This process is known as cognitive restructuring, and it is backed by neuroscience. Studies show that the brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can rewire itself based on repeated thoughts and experiences. When you deliberately introduce new beliefs and reinforce them with action, the old neural pathways weaken and new ones take their place. One of the most effective ways to shift beliefs is through visualization. The brain does not distinguish between real experiences and vividly imagined ones, which is why athletes use mental rehearsal to improve performance. When you visualize yourself succeeding, happy, and confident, your brain begins to accept this as reality, making it easier to take actions that align with this vision. Another powerful tool is affirmation with emotion. It is not enough to say, "I am confident," if you do not feel it. But if you repeat affirmations while generating the emotions of confidence, success, and joy, you imprint them deeply into your subconscious. And finally, evidence-based reinforcement is crucial. Seek out real-world proof that supports your new beliefs. Surround yourself with people who embody the mindset you want. Read books, listen to stories, and engage in experiences that reinforce the reality you wish to create. The most profound truth you can ever realize is that your beliefs are the foundation of your reality. If you do not like the life you are experiencing, do not blame the external world. Examine the beliefs that are creating it. You hold the power to rewrite your reality at any moment. The question is, what do you choose to believe? Because whatever you believe, the universe will mirror back to you. The mind does not ask, "Is this true?" It simply takes what you focus on and turns it into reality. The moment you choose to take control of your beliefs, you unlock your ability to create a life of limitless potential. The only thing standing between you and the reality you desire is the belief that it is possible. And once you believe it, reality has no choice but to align. Chapter 5. The Subconscious Blueprint: Reprogramming Your Mind for Success. Imagine you are a computer running an operating system that was installed without your knowledge. This system determines how you process information, how you react to challenges, how you handle relationships, how you perceive money, and even how you define yourself. Every thought, every reaction, every automatic behavior is being dictated by this invisible code. Now imagine that this system is filled with outdated, faulty programming, beliefs you inherited from childhood, experiences that left deep emotional imprints, cultural narratives that shaped your perception of reality, and habits formed without conscious awareness. This is exactly how the subconscious mind operates. It is a vast, hidden blueprint that governs nearly everything you do, yet most people never question what is written in that blueprint. They never ask, "Who installed this program? Is it serving me? Can I change it?" The answer is yes. You can absolutely rewrite the subconscious blueprint that is shaping your life. In fact, if you want to change your reality in any meaningful way, you must. Because until you do, you will continue to repeat the same patterns, attract the same experiences, and face the same limitations. Not because the universe is against you, but because your subconscious mind is programmed to keep you there. In this chapter, we will explore how the subconscious mind controls your life, why it resists change, and how you can systematically reprogram it for success, abundance, and fulfillment. The first thing you need to understand is that the subconscious mind is not rational. It is habitual. Unlike your conscious mind, which can analyze, plan, and make logical decisions, your subconscious operates on autopilot. It does not question whether a belief is true or false, good or bad, helpful or harmful. It simply accepts what has been repeated and reinforced over time. This is why people who grow up hearing that money is the root of all evil often struggle with financial success, even when they consciously desire wealth. It is why someone who was repeatedly told they are not good enough might find themselves sabotaging relationships, careers, and opportunities without understanding why. The subconscious is not trying to hurt you. It is simply following the program it was given. Its primary function is to keep you safe, and safety to the subconscious mind means sticking to what is familiar. This is why change is so difficult for most people. Even if a new reality is objectively better, if it contradicts the subconscious blueprint, it will be rejected. To understand how deeply ingrained these subconscious programs are, consider the iceberg model of the mind. If the mind were an iceberg, the conscious mind, the part you are aware of, would be the tiny tip above the surface, making up about 5% of total mental activity. The subconscious mind, however, is the massive structure beneath the surface, controlling 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This means that no matter how much willpower you apply, if your subconscious mind is programmed with limiting beliefs, you will struggle to make lasting change. This is why people who set goals, whether to lose weight, build wealth, or improve relationships, often fail despite their best efforts. If their subconscious blueprint does not align with the goal, the subconscious will sabotage their progress to maintain consistency with its programming. This explains why someone might work hard to improve their financial situation, only to unconsciously make decisions that bring them back to where they started. It explains why someone who grew up with toxic relationships might keep attracting the same unhealthy dynamics in different forms. It explains why people repeat the same mistakes, even when they know better. The subconscious mind is not interested in what you consciously want. It is interested in what it has been conditioned to expect. But here is where the true power lies. Your subconscious mind can be reprogrammed. Just as a computer's operating system can be updated, your subconscious blueprint can be rewritten. And when you do this, when you replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, when you train your subconscious to align with your desired reality, everything in your life begins to shift effortlessly. You no longer have to force yourself to work harder, to push against resistance, or to struggle to make changes. Instead, your subconscious mind becomes an ally, automatically guiding you towards success, health, love, and abundance. This is why truly successful people do not just have good habits. They have subconscious programming that makes success inevitable. They do not have to try to be confident, disciplined, or wealthy. Their subconscious mind naturally leads them in that direction. And the good news is, you can do the same. The key to reprogramming the subconscious mind lies in understanding how it learns. Unlike the conscious mind, which learns through logic and reasoning, the subconscious learns through repetition, emotion, and experience. This means that simply reading about new beliefs or understanding them intellectually is not enough. You must imprint them into your subconscious through repeated exposure, emotional intensity, and direct experience. The first and most powerful method is affirmation with deep feeling. When you repeat an affirmation, such as, "I am worthy of success," or "I attract abundance effortlessly," you are introducing a new idea to the subconscious. But words alone are not enough. The subconscious only accepts ideas that are charged with emotion. This is why repeating affirmations mechanically without feeling rarely works. But when you say an affirmation with genuine conviction, when you visualize it, feel it, believe it, you begin to imprint it into the subconscious. Over time, with enough repetition, the subconscious adopts this new belief as truth, and your reality begins to shift accordingly. Another powerful tool for subconscious reprogramming is visualization. The brain does not distinguish between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. This is why elite athletes use mental rehearsal to improve performance. When they visualize themselves winning, their brain activates the same neural pathways as if they were physically performing the act. This means that when you visualize your ideal reality with clarity and emotion, your subconscious begins to accept it as familiar, making it more likely to manifest in your life. If you consistently imagine yourself confident, successful, and thriving, your subconscious starts aligning your actions, behaviors, and circumstances with that vision. Hypnosis and self-hypnosis are also effective methods because they allow direct access to the subconscious mind. In a hypnotic state, the critical faculty of the conscious mind is bypassed, allowing new beliefs to be implanted without resistance. This is why people can overcome phobias, change habits, and adopt new mindsets rapidly through hypnosis. Similarly, subconscious reprogramming audio tracks, which use techniques like binaural beats, subliminal messages, and guided affirmations, can gradually reshape deep-seated beliefs by exposing the subconscious to positive programming while in a relaxed state. The most important aspect of subconscious reprogramming, however, is real-world reinforcement. The subconscious is most deeply shaped by experience. This means that if you want to shift a belief, you must actively seek out experiences that support it. If you want to believe you are capable of success, put yourself in situations where you prove it to yourself. Take small actions that reinforce your new identity. Surround yourself with people who embody the beliefs you wish to adopt. Every time you experience something that aligns with your new subconscious blueprint, the belief becomes stronger. Ultimately, the subconscious mind is a neutral force. It does not care what beliefs you install. It only follows the instructions it has been given. If you do nothing, it will continue running on old, inherited programming. But if you consciously take control, if you rewrite the subconscious blueprint with beliefs that empower you, then success, happiness, and fulfillment become not just possibilities, but inevitable outcomes. The greatest secret of all is this: you are not a victim of your subconscious. You are the programmer. The question is, what reality do you choose to create? Chapter 6. Emotions, the secret code to rewriting reality. What if I told you that your emotions are not just fleeting feelings, but the very fuel that powers the engine of your reality? That every thought you have, every belief you hold, and every action you take is being amplified or diminished based on the emotional charge behind it? You have likely heard the phrase, thoughts become things. But the truth is, thoughts alone are weak without the force of emotion. Emotion is what makes a thought stick in your subconscious mind. Emotion is what sends a signal out into the world, attracting or repelling circumstances. Emotion is what determines whether an idea becomes a deeply ingrained belief or just another passing notion. And yet, most people have no real control over their emotions. They are either ruled by them, falling victim to every passing feeling of fear, doubt, or anger, or they suppress them, denying their power, and in doing so, numbing themselves to their greatest tool for transformation. If you truly want to reshape your life, you must master the secret code of emotions. You must learn how to harness emotional energy, transmute negative emotions into power, and use elevated emotions to create the reality you desire. This is not about mere positive thinking. This is about emotional mastery, the ability to consciously generate the feelings that shape your destiny. The first thing you must understand is that your emotional state is the magnet that attracts your experiences. Every moment, you are emitting a frequency, and that frequency is dictated by your emotions. Have you ever noticed that when you are feeling stressed or anxious, everything seems to go wrong? You spill your coffee, you hit traffic, people seem to be rude to you, and obstacles keep appearing out of nowhere. Conversely, when you wake up feeling energized and excited, the day unfolds effortlessly. Green lights all the way, unexpected good news, positive interactions. This is not a coincidence. Your emotions dictate the frequency at which your mind and body operate, and that frequency aligns with matching experiences in the external world. Science has proven this. Studies in HeartMath Institute research have shown that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field that changes based on emotional states. This field interacts with the world around you, influencing both your internal biology and external experiences. This means that if you want to change what you attract in life, you must first change the emotions you habitually experience. But emotions do not just attract experiences, they program your subconscious mind. Remember, the subconscious does not learn through logic. It learns through intensity, repetition, and emotion. This is why experiences tied to strong emotions, both positive and negative, become deeply embedded in your identity. A child who is repeatedly criticized with harsh emotion does not just hear the words, they feel the emotion, and that emotion cements the belief. I am not good enough. A person who experiences deep fear during a failure might develop a subconscious program that says, I should never take risks. Conversely, someone who succeeds and feels deep pride, joy, and excitement in the process will reinforce the belief, I am capable and success is natural for me. The more emotion you attach to an idea, the deeper it is imprinted into your subconscious blueprint. This is why most people struggle to change beliefs through logic alone. It is not the words that program the mind, it is the feeling behind them. Now let's talk about negative emotions. fear, anxiety, anger, guilt, shame. Most people think these emotions are problems to be avoided, suppressed, or ignored. But in reality, negative emotions are signals. They are feedback from your subconscious mind, revealing hidden programs that are controlling your life. If you feel deep anxiety about money, that emotion is pointing to a subconscious belief that says, "I am not financially secure." If you feel overwhelming fear when speaking in front of people, that fear is revealing a belief that says, "I am not safe being seen." Instead of trying to suppress these emotions, you must learn to decode them. Every time a negative emotion arises, ask yourself, what belief is this emotion reinforcing? Is this belief serving me? Do I choose to keep it? When you do this, you take back power over emotions instead of being ruled by them. But there is an even more powerful secret. Negative emotions contain energy that can be transmuted into power. Every emotion you feel is just energy in motion, emotion. Fear, when harnessed correctly, turns into focus and awareness. Anger, when directed consciously, turns into motivation and strength. Sadness, when processed fully, turns into deep wisdom and clarity. Instead of fighting negative emotions, learn to use them as fuel. When fear arises, breathe deeply and redirect its energy into action. When anger arises, instead of lashing out or suppressing it, channel it into discipline and transformation. When sadness appears, allow yourself to fully feel it, extract its lessons, and emerge stronger. And now we arrive at the most important key of all. Elevated emotions create quantum shifts in your reality. Feelings like love, joy, gratitude, excitement, and confidence are not just pleasant experiences. They are creative forces. They amplify the power of your thoughts, rewire your subconscious mind faster, and shift your frequency to align with new realities. Gratitude, in particular, is one of the most potent forces in the universe. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude physically rewires the brain, increasing happiness, reducing stress, and even strengthening the immune system. But beyond science, gratitude is a direct signal to the universe that you are already aligned with abundance. When you feel grateful for something, whether it has manifested yet or not, you send a powerful energetic command that attracts it into your life. This is why some of the most successful people in history have credited gratitude as their secret weapon. The ultimate skill you must develop is the ability to generate emotions at will. Most people let the external world dictate how they feel. If something good happens, they feel happy. If something bad happens, they feel sad. But true power comes when you can choose your emotional state regardless of circumstances. Imagine if you could wake up and instantly feel excitement for the day ahead. Imagine if you could generate unshakable confidence before an important meeting. Imagine if you could feel deep gratitude and joy even when facing challenges. This is emotional mastery, and it is the foundation of creating a life on your terms. How do you develop this skill? Through conscious practice. One of the most powerful techniques is emotional visualization, not just picturing your ideal reality, but actually generating the emotions of already living it. Every morning, take 5 minutes to vividly imagine your dream life and immerse yourself in the feelings of already having it. Feel the joy, the success, the confidence. The more you practice this, the more your subconscious mind begins to accept it as reality, and soon, your actions and external world will shift to match. Another technique is anchoring positive emotions. Think of a time when you felt truly powerful, happy, or successful. Now associate that feeling with a physical action, clenching your fist, touching your heart, or taking a deep breath. Repeatedly practicing this will create a neurological anchor, allowing you to trigger positive emotions instantly, no matter the situation. At the deepest level, emotions are the language of reality creation. They dictate the subconscious blueprint, they influence what you attract, and they determine the speed at which change occurs. If you can master your emotions, you can master your destiny. So the question is, will you let emotions control you, or will you learn to control them? Will you allow fear and doubt to dictate your future, or will you harness the limitless power of joy, confidence, and gratitude to create the life you desire? Because once you learn to master emotions, nothing will be out of your reach. Chapter 7. The Power of Identity. Becoming the person who naturally attracts success. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve success effortlessly, while others struggle no matter how hard they try? Why some individuals radiate confidence, wealth, health, and happiness, while others remain trapped in cycles of frustration, doubt, and lack? The answer is not just about habits, skills, or even mindset. It is about identity. Identity is the foundation upon which everything in your life is built. It is the invisible force that determines what you believe is possible, what actions you take, what results you achieve, and what you attract into your reality. You do not get what you want in life. You get what you are. And what you are is dictated by the identity you have programmed into your subconscious mind. Until you change your self-identity at a deep level, no amount of effort, strategy, or external change will create lasting transformation. You might push yourself to develop new habits, set bigger goals, or work harder. But if your internal identity does not match the reality you desire, your subconscious mind will sabotage your efforts and pull you back to the familiar. This is why people who win the lottery often lose all their money within a few years. Their self-identity is still programmed for financial struggle, not wealth. This is why people who lose weight through extreme dieting often regain it. They still see themselves as overweight at the subconscious level. Your external world will always reflect your internal identity. If you want a radical change in your reality, you must start with the deepest level, who you believe yourself to be. Identity is shaped by your past experiences, childhood conditioning, societal expectations, and the repetitive thoughts you entertain daily. From the moment you were born, your mind has been absorbing information, forming patterns, and constructing a sense of self. Based on what you were told and what you repeatedly experienced, if you were praised for being smart as a child, you likely formed the belief, "I am intelligent," and that identity shaped your actions, leading to behaviors that reinforced your intelligence. If you were constantly criticized or made to feel unworthy, you might have internalized an identity of, "I am not good enough," which then influenced every aspect of your life, your relationships, career choices, and self-perception. This is why two people with the same opportunities and potential can have completely different lives, one with an identity that supports success, the other with an identity that sabotages it. But here's the most important truth. Your identity is not fixed. It is a program that can be rewritten. The first step in transforming your identity is to become aware of your current identity patterns. What do you believe about yourself when no one is watching? What identity do you unconsciously reinforce through your daily habits, thoughts, and emotions? If you constantly say, "I am bad with money," you are reinforcing an identity of financial struggle. If you think, "I am always unlucky in love," you are cementing an identity that attracts dysfunctional relationships. Every statement that begins with, "I am," is a command to your subconscious mind, shaping the reality you experience. If you want to know what your subconscious identity is, simply look at your life. Your current results, your financial situation, health, relationships, and career are all reflections of the identity running in the background of your mind. This is a hard truth for many to accept, but it is also the most empowering realization because it means you have the power to change it. The most effective way to shift your identity is to act as if the new identity is already yours. This is not about pretending or faking it. It is about embodying the traits, behaviors, and mindset of the person you want to become. Your brain does not differentiate between real and imagined experiences. It only follows the signals you repeatedly send it. If you want to be confident, start acting as if confidence is already a part of your identity. If you want to be wealthy, start managing your money like a wealthy person. If you want to be healthy, start making decisions from the mindset of someone who prioritizes their well-being. This is not just about visualization. It is about integration, merging the new identity with your daily reality until it becomes natural. One of the fastest ways to rewire your identity is through identity-based affirmations. Unlike traditional affirmations that focus on external goals, I will be successful, identity-based affirmations focus on who you are at your core. I am successful. The key is to repeat these affirmations with deep emotion and belief, allowing them to sink into your subconscious mind. Instead of saying, I want to be disciplined, say, I am a disciplined person. Instead of saying, I want to be confident, say, I am confident and self-assured in all situations. The more you repeat these statements with conviction, the more your subconscious mind will accept them as truth, and your actions will begin to align automatically. Another powerful method is identity priming through environment and association. Your subconscious identity is heavily influenced by the people you surround yourself with and the environment you expose yourself to. If you spend time with people who reinforce limiting beliefs, their energy and mindset will seep into your identity. But if you immerse yourself in an environment where success, confidence, and abundance are the norm, your subconscious will begin to reprogram itself to match that level. This is why successful people tend to associate with other successful people. They create an energetic environment that reinforces their identity. Surround yourself with books, podcasts, and mentors that embody the identity you want to adopt. Change your physical environment to reflect the reality you desire. Dress the way your future self would. Organize your space to align with your vision and eliminate anything that reinforces the old identity. One of the most overlooked yet powerful techniques for identity transformation is embodied visualization. Most people visualize their goals passively, watching themselves from a third-person perspective. But the most effective way to rewire identity is to visualize from a first-person perspective. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as your highest version, not watching from the outside, but actually feeling yourself being that person. How do you walk? How do you speak? What emotions are running through your body? What decisions do you make effortlessly? The more vividly you can embody this identity in your mind, the faster it will integrate into your subconscious and manifest in reality. The final and most crucial step in shifting identity is consistency. Identity change is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. The subconscious mind resists change initially, but with repetition and emotional intensity, it eventually accepts the new identity as truth. The key is to reinforce your desired identity every single day through thoughts, words, actions, and emotions. Each time you make a decision, ask yourself, is this choice reinforcing my old identity or my new one? The more you align your actions with your chosen identity, the faster it becomes your default state. At the core of all personal transformation is identity evolution. You do not need to fix yourself. You need to become the version of yourself who already embodies the success, confidence, and abundance you desire. This is not about pretending to be someone else. It is about uncovering the powerful, limitless version of yourself that has always been there, buried under layers of conditioning. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your fears. You are not the limitations that were placed upon you. You are the creator of your identity, and therefore, the creator of your destiny. So the question is, who do you choose to become? Because once you make that decision and fully commit to embodying it, your entire reality will shift to match it, effortlessly and inevitably. Chapter 8, The Subconscious Blueprint, Reprogramming Your Mind for Limitless Possibility. If you ever feel like you are running in circles, working hard but getting nowhere, setting goals but failing to achieve them, dreaming big but watching life unfold in the same frustrating patterns. You are not alone. Most people do not struggle because they lack intelligence, talent, or discipline. They struggle because they are unknowingly running the wrong subconscious blueprint. Imagine trying to build a skyscraper using the blueprint of a small house. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in. The structure will always be limited by the original design. This is exactly what happens in your life. Your subconscious mind operates like a master blueprint, controlling 95% of your thoughts, decisions, behaviors, and automatic responses. It dictates how much success, money, happiness, health, and love you allow yourself to experience. And yet, most people go through life completely unaware of the subconscious programs shaping their reality. Your subconscious mind was not designed to make you successful or fulfilled. It was designed to keep you safe. From the moment you were born, your mind absorbed everything around you like a sponge, forming core beliefs based on repeated experiences, emotional intensity, and external conditioning. If you repeatedly experienced rejection, your subconscious may have formed a belief that says, "I am not lovable." If you grew up in a household where money was always scarce, you may have absorbed a financial blueprint that says, "Money is hard to earn and easy to lose." These subconscious programs act like invisible chains, keeping you stuck in familiar patterns, even when your conscious mind wants something different. This is why willpower alone is not enough to create lasting change, because your subconscious mind will always override conscious effort if the two are in conflict. Think of your mind as a thermostat. If the thermostat is set to 70 degrees, the temperature in the room will always regulate itself back to that setting, no matter how much cold air you let in or how much you try to heat the space. Your subconscious mind works the same way. If your financial thermostat is set to struggle, no matter how much money you earn, your subconscious will find ways to bring you back to a state of lack, whether through bad investments, unexpected expenses, or self-sabotage. If your relationship thermostat is set to toxic patterns, you will unconsciously attract the same type of partners, no matter how much you try to change. The only way to truly transform your reality is to change the thermostat itself, to reprogram your subconscious blueprint at the core level. So how do you do this? How do you rewrite the subconscious programs that have been running your life for years, sometimes decades? The first step is awareness. You must become consciously aware of the beliefs that are shaping your reality. Every belief you hold, whether empowering or limiting, is just a thought that has been repeated enough times to become ingrained in your subconscious mind. But here's the key. A belief is not reality. It is just a perception of reality that you have accepted as truth. When you begin to question your beliefs, you take back control of the subconscious programs running your life. Ask yourself, what do I believe about money, about success, about love, about my own worth? Are these beliefs helping me or limiting me? You will begin to notice patterns, hidden, unquestioned beliefs that have been silently dictating your decisions and experiences. The moment you expose them to the light of awareness, they begin to lose their grip on you. But awareness alone is not enough. You must actively reprogram your subconscious mind with new empowering beliefs. The most effective way to do this is through deep emotional repetition. Remember, your subconscious does not learn through logic. It learns through intense experiences, emotions, and repeated exposure. This is why traditional affirmations often fail. Repeating, "I am wealthy" 100 times a day will not work if your subconscious mind is deeply programmed with "I never have enough money." The words alone are not enough. You must imprint them with deep emotional intensity. One of the most powerful techniques for subconscious reprogramming is visualization with emotional embodiment. Instead of just thinking about the life you desire, you must feel it as if it is already real. Close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself living your ideal reality, not as an observer, but as the main character. What does it feel like to be financially free? To wake up excited and full of purpose? To be surrounded by love and success? The stronger the emotions you generate, the deeper the imprint on your subconscious mind. Neuroscience has proven that the brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, which means that when you visualize with intense emotion, your brain begins wiring itself to accept that reality as normal. The more you do this, the faster your external reality will begin to shift to match your new subconscious blueprint. Another powerful technique is identity scripting, rewriting the script of who you are at a core level. Take a piece of paper and write a detailed description of the person you choose to become. Write it in the present tense, as if it is already true. Describe your confidence, your mindset, your habits, your level of success, and the way you experience life. Be as detailed as possible, and then read this script every single day with deep conviction. The more you expose your subconscious mind to this new identity, the faster it will accept it as your new default. But here's the secret most people miss. You must take aligned action in the physical world to reinforce your new subconscious blueprint. Your subconscious mind learns through experience. If you want to reprogram your mind for confidence, you must start acting confidently. If you want to rewire yourself for financial success, you must start making empowered decisions with your money. If you want to shift your self-image to health and vitality, you must start treating your body accordingly. Every time you take an action that aligns with your new subconscious identity, you reinforce the new program and weaken the old one. The final and most crucial step is consistency. Subconscious reprogramming does not happen overnight, but with daily repetition, it is inevitable. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every action you take is reinforcing a belief, either your old limiting beliefs or your new empowering ones. The choice is always yours. The question is, will you allow your subconscious mind to keep running outdated programs that no longer serve you? Or will you take control and rewrite the blueprint for the life you truly desire? Because here's the truth. Your subconscious mind does not care whether you program it with abundance or scarcity, confidence or fear, success or failure. It will simply accept whatever you repeatedly feed it. So why not consciously choose to program it with the reality you desire? Why not take back control of the most powerful tool you have, the mind that shapes your universe? When you do this, when you actively rewrite your subconscious blueprint, your external reality has no choice but to shift in response. Your thoughts will change, your actions will change, your habits will change, and ultimately, your entire life will transform. Chapter 9. The Energy Blueprint, Aligning Your Frequency with Success. Everything in the universe is energy. This is not a metaphor or a spiritual concept. It is a scientific fact. Quantum physics has proven that at the most fundamental level, everything is made up of vibrating energy, including your thoughts, emotions, and physical body. The frequency at which you vibrate determines what you attract into your life, just like a radio tunes into specific frequencies to pick up different stations. Your mind and body tune into different energetic frequencies that determine the circumstances, people, and experiences that appear in your reality. If you are constantly vibrating at the frequency of doubt, fear, or scarcity, you will attract experiences that match that energy. If you are vibrating at the frequency of abundance, confidence, and success, you will naturally magnetize opportunities, resources, and people that align with those states. This is why two people with the same skills, intelligence, and background can have completely different life outcomes, because their internal energy dictates what they attract. The problem is that most people operate on default energy patterns that were shaped by childhood conditioning, past traumas, and societal programming. From a young age, we are taught what is realistic, what is possible, and what we deserve. These unconscious beliefs shape the energetic frequency we hold in our body every single day. If you grew up hearing that money is scarce, your energy around wealth is likely one of lack and struggle. If you were criticized or made to feel small, your energy around self-worth is probably filled with doubt and hesitation. These frequencies are not just abstract emotions, they are measurable energetic patterns that influence how reality responds to you. Think about this. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt tension even before anyone spoke? Or met someone who radiated such confidence and warmth that you felt uplifted just by being around them? That is energy in action. The people who achieve massive success are not just lucky. They have mastered their energetic state to align with the reality they desire. They do not chase success. They become the type of person who naturally attracts it. And the good news is that you can do the same. So how do you shift your energy to align with success? The first step is awareness. Most people are completely unconscious of their energetic state. They think success is about working harder, pushing more, and forcing outcomes, when in reality, the most powerful shifts happen when you change the energy from which you operate. Pay attention to how you feel throughout the day. Your emotions are a direct indicator of your energetic frequency. Are you vibrating at the energy of excitement, gratitude, and confidence? Or are you stuck in frustration, doubt, and fear? The more you tune into your internal state, the more control you have over shifting it. One of the fastest ways to elevate your energetic frequency is through emotional embodiment. Instead of waiting for external circumstances to change before you feel successful, abundant, or confident, you must embody those states right now. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between a real experience and an imagined one. It simply responds to the energy you generate. This is why successful people visualize their goals as if they have already happened, not as distant dreams. If you can feel the emotions of success before it manifests physically, you send a powerful energetic signal to the universe that this is your new reality. Another powerful method for shifting energy is breathwork and movement. Your body holds onto old energetic patterns, and sometimes no amount of thinking or analyzing can break them. Have you ever noticed how physical movement instantly changes your mood? That is because emotions are stored in the body, and movement helps release stagnant energy. Practices like deep breathing, yoga, dancing, or even simply standing tall with confidence can rewire your nervous system to hold a new frequency. Try this. The next time you feel stuck in fear or doubt, take a few minutes to breathe deeply and move your body with intention. Stand like a powerful, unstoppable version of yourself. The simple act of changing your posture can shift your energetic state instantly. One of the most overlooked yet powerful ways to reprogram your energy is the words you speak and the thoughts you entertain. Every word you say and every thought you think is like a command to your subconscious mind, reinforcing a specific frequency. If you constantly say, "I can't afford that," or "I am not good enough," you are literally programming your energy to match that reality. But when you consciously shift your language to, "I am capable," "I attract abundance," or "I am worthy of success," your energy begins to rise to meet those statements. Your words are not just descriptions of reality. They are creators of reality. Your environment also plays a huge role in your energetic state. Everything you surround yourself with, people, places, media, music, either raises or lowers your vibration. If you are constantly around negative, complaining people, your energy will be dragged down to match theirs. But if you surround yourself with high-frequency individuals, books, and experiences, your energy will rise effortlessly. Be ruthless about protecting your energy. If something lowers your vibration, distance yourself from it. Your energy is your most valuable asset. It determines everything you attract into your life. Perhaps the most powerful shift of all is learning to trust and surrender. Most people operate from a state of resistance, trying to force things to happen, fearing that if they let go, everything will fall apart. But the truth is, the most successful people are not the ones who push the hardest. They are the ones who are in the deepest state of flow. They trust that the universe is working for them. They take inspired action, but do not obsess over the outcome. They understand that the more you try to control everything, the more you block the very success you seek. True power comes from aligning with the flow of life and allowing success to unfold naturally. If you truly want to transform your life, you must stop looking at success as something external that you need to chase. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by becoming the version of yourself who naturally aligns with it. You do not need to struggle to get abundance, confidence, or happiness. You simply need to shift your energy to match those states. The moment you elevate your energetic frequency, the external world has no choice but to respond. So ask yourself right now, what energy am I operating from? What frequency am I broadcasting to the universe every single day? Because your life is not a reflection of your wishes or desires. It is a reflection of your dominant energy. If you want to change your life, do not start by changing your external circumstances. Start by changing your internal frequency. Because once your energy shifts, your entire reality will shift with it, effortlessly, naturally, and inevitably. Chapter 10. Becoming the Creator, Living Your Power, Shaping Your Universe. There comes a moment when you must decide who you truly are. Not the person shaped by old beliefs, not the one limited by fear, doubt, or the past, but the real, limitless, powerful creator that exists beneath all the noise. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to circumstances, reacting to other people's expectations, reacting to the subconscious programs running their mind. They move through life as passengers rather than drivers, as spectators rather than creators. But you were never meant to live that way. You were never meant to simply survive, to struggle, to settle. You were meant to create, to shape, to bend reality itself to match the vision that burns inside you. And now, at this moment, you must make the most important choice of all. Will you continue to operate from old limitations, or will you step fully into your power as the creator of your reality? Everything we have explored in this journey, the power of your subconscious mind, the energy blueprint you carry, the reality-shifting force of your beliefs, has been leading to this final truth. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe. And that means you are not at the mercy of life's circumstances. You are the architect, the designer, the force that calls into existence everything you experience. But to truly embody this, you must let go of the illusion that your external reality controls you. It is the other way around. Your internal reality is what shapes everything you see, touch, and experience. The job you have, the relationships you attract, the money in your bank account, the opportunities that come your way, they are all reflections of your internal state. The moment you shift within, the external world will mirror that shift. It has no choice. But here's the secret that most people miss. Creation is not just about manifesting things. It is about becoming. It is not just about attracting more money, love, or success. It is about stepping into the highest version of yourself who naturally attracts those things. Most people get stuck because they try to force results without transforming their identity. They say they want wealth, but they still operate from a scarcity mindset. They say they want confidence, but they still see themselves as small. They say they want success, but they still carry the energy of doubt and hesitation. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. If you want a different reality, you must first become the version of yourself who exists in that reality. So, how do you embody this? How do you shift from being someone who hopes for change to someone who actively creates it? The first and most powerful step is absolute clarity. You cannot create what you are vague about. Most people drift through life with half-hearted goals, uncertain visions, and weak intentions. They say, "I want more money," but they have no clear definition of what that looks like. They say, "I want a better life," but they have no specific vision of what that life entails. The universe responds to precision. If you were an architect designing a building, you would not simply tell the builders, "Make something nice." You would create a detailed blueprint, every line, every measurement, every structural element clearly mapped out. The same principle applies to your life. You must create a clear and specific blueprint of the reality you are stepping into. What does your highest self look like? How does that version of you think, speak, act? What kind of people surround you? What does your environment look like? The clearer your vision, the more powerfully you will step into it. But clarity alone is not enough. You must fully align with that vision. This means eliminating anything in your life that doesn't match the reality you are creating. The way you spend your time, the way you treat your body, the thoughts you entertain, the people you allow into your space. They must all align with the version of yourself that you are stepping into. You cannot create wealth while thinking like a poor person. You cannot attract love while carrying the energy of unworthiness. You cannot embody success while surrounding yourself with negativity. Everything must align. This requires radical honesty. Look at your habits, your patterns, your environment. Do they reflect the reality you are choosing? If not, change them immediately. Another essential key to embodying your power as a creator is acting as if. Most people wait for external proof before they believe in their new reality. They say, "I'll feel successful once I have money. I'll feel confident once people respect me. I'll believe in my dreams once they start working out." But that is backwards. You must become it first, and then the world will reflect it back to you. The people who create extraordinary lives do not wait for permission. They do not wait for evidence. They step fully into the identity of the person they choose to be, and the universe reorganizes itself to match their frequency. If you want to be wealthy, think, act, and operate like a wealthy person before the money comes. If you want to be confident, carry yourself with confidence before the validation arrives. If you want to be successful, embody success before the results appear. The universe rewards those who have the courage to believe before they see. And here's the final truth. The most powerful force in creation is certainty. The universe does not respond to doubt. It responds to absolute, unwavering certainty. The people who achieve the impossible are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are the ones who decide with unshakable certainty that their vision will become reality. They do not hope. They do not wish. They do not try. They know. They move with the kind of faith that bends reality itself. They do not wait for circumstances to align. They align themselves and trust that the universe will follow. So now, as we reach the end of this journey, I leave you with one final, life-altering question. Are you ready to fully claim your power as the creator of your reality? Not just in theory, not just as an inspiring idea, but as the way you actually live, breathe, and move through the world? Because if you truly decide, right here, right now, to embody your limitless potential, nothing will ever be the same. Your mind shapes the universe. It always has. The question is, will you finally use that power consciously? Will you finally step beyond old limitations and shape a reality that reflects the highest, most unstoppable version of yourself? Because once you do, once you commit fully, without hesitation, without doubt, the universe will open doors you never knew existed. It will conspire in your favor in ways you cannot yet imagine. It will shift, bend, and transform to match the new elevated frequency you hold. And as you look back at your old life, the one filled with struggle, hesitation, and limitations, you will realize something profound. It was never reality holding you back. It was always you. And now, finally, you are free. Free to create, free to shape, free to live as the limitless being you were always meant to be. The choice is yours. What reality will you create?